concert last night? Yeah? Was it your first concert? Yeah? Your first concert was Stan Bush? Do you realise how lucky you are? It is downhill from here. Did we all enjoy it, yeah?
Yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, without too much delay, the man of the hour, the man, the legend himself, put your hands together for Mr. Stan Bush! Okay, so as always, we've got runners running around with microphones, so if you have got questions, we've got one for this side, one for that, so don't worry, we'll try and get to all of you as quickly as possible. I'm going to start off with, though, first of all, thank you so much for last night. It was wonderful and incredible. On behalf of everybody, you really made this incredibly special, so thank you very much. So my first question to you then is, where did it all start for you? Where did your love for music materialize from?
As a kid, I always grew up, singing and whatnot. Started playing guitar when I was about 10. So just kind of learned, play bars and all that. Same thing a lot of people do. And came to LA after a while when I got to the early 20s. It's been fun.
And you moved to LA, and by that point, had you already got a contract, or were you still just a budding musician at that point? And how did you really break in?
Well, I joined a band in Colorado first for 2 years, and then we got signed from there and went to Los Angeles. So I went actually with a band in the first place, and then stayed after that and kind of became a solo artist. I don't know why. Just maybe the Transformers.
So obviously Transformers is the reason that we're all here, is it not?
Yeah!
And obviously your work on the 1986 movie soundtrack was incredible, but am I correct in thinking that that's not originally what it was intended for?
That's right. The Touch, my co-writer and myself, we originally wrote it with the Stallone movie Cobra in mind, and anyway, it ended up getting in the Transformers. We were told, yeah, it's a cartoon movie about robots, and we were like, what? Well, it turned out to be amazing.
You do a lot of awesome music, as everyone here knows. But my question is, have you done any cover songs? And if not, is there any particular one that you would love to do?
Let's see. Cover songs. Yeah, on the first album I did a song called All American Boy. I didn't write that one, so it was kind of a cover song. But yeah, I hadn't really thought of it. It's kind of, it's just been worked out that way. I've done songs that, I wrote or co-wrote with other people.
So can you talk to us a little bit about the genesis of both The Touch and Day, and just the creative process behind those two songs?
Well, with The Touch, Lenny Macaluso, he's my co-writer on The Touch. We've written a lot of things together over the years, and like I say, the original phrase, The Touch, I don't know if you remember the movie Iron Eagle 2 with Louis Gossett Jr. It's about a pilot, Air Force pilot. And at one point in the movie, he turns to the young pilot and says, "Kid, you got the touch." It's like, oh, idea, ball goes up. Yeah. So that was kind of the inspiration for the title.
And Dare?
Well, actually, I didn't write Dare either. It was Vince Nicola who did the score. Yeah, he wrote that with a guy named Scott Shelley, and they just got me to sing that one.
And so, like you say, you were originally going for Cobra with Stallone, a very iconic movie again of its time. what was your familiarity with Transformers? Because by the time, I'm guessing, the development was along for the 86 movie, it had only been out for about a year and a half. So, were you familiar at all with Transformers?
Not too much. I had a nephew who had one of the toys, and he was like, he could turn it in 2 seconds from a robot into a truck. It took me an hour, I couldn't do it. So that's, yeah. I had seen the toy only, only there.
Any questions? Yeah, right behind you, Marcus.
What's your favourite song to play live?
I'm sorry?
What's your favourite song to play live?
Oh gosh, well, probably The Touch. No, Love Don't Lie, I like that one too. It's kind of a heartfelt song, about love. They're all fun.
It's a nice song.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
And I think that was a testament last night as well. Everybody was thoroughly enjoying everything that you did last night. Obviously, you've recorded quite a few albums, 11?
Well, actually 14.
14, albums. And I think that there's a common thread throughout your music, a message of positivity and being able to overcome. Has that always been something that you felt a connection to?
Oh, glad you brought that up. The Touch kind of was the first one of those, and after that it was kind of like, I don't know, it became a thing for me, like the anthem, believe in yourself, go for it. I think as people, we have a lot more power than we realize. You have everybody's experience. You get in a situation where you need to really excel, and you can push yourself and do amazing things.
So, obviously, going back to your early days, was Dare and the Touch the first professional music that you'd gotten into, something like a movie, or?
Yeah, the first album was on Sony, records, CBS, and not much happened with that. And then the Scotty Brothers, Stan Bush and Barrage album, that was my first, that was the second album, but the first one that had songs in films.
And did you go see the movie, at least?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Went to a screening with, saw the movie with the record label over there, and it was cool. It was in Hollywood, or Westwood actually, West LA.
Honest opinion, what did you think of it?
I didn't know really what to think. I hadn't seen a full-length feature animated film before, and it was cool. Everybody seemed to like it. It was kind of took on a cult following almost after that, and became much bigger later. In terms of being a fan favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. We all kind of like it, don't we?
Yeah!
Yeah. Even though I think a lot of the mystique that surrounds it has to do as well with the fact that they unabashedly just murdered half the cast 30 minutes into the film. To an outstanding soundtrack, I must admit. But you're absolutely right, it's definitely gained a cult following, and so obviously has the soundtrack, obviously, The Touch and Dare and Big Boom, synonymous with Transformers, but your legacy with the brand has obviously continued throughout the 30 years, and I think the next time that you would really get involved in the brand was about 1997, wasn't it, when you produced another song for Whatcom?
Yeah, the BotCon, it was Till All Are One. In the introduction, you guys played that. Yeah, that was like a Transformers theme for BotCon, and we released that on Call to Action album. Yeah, so it was also a bonus track on In This Life. So, but yeah, that was. After that, I started doing more BotCons every year or two. I would do one of those, and then I started having songs in the games, Transformers games, like War for Cybertron and Hasbro toys. They've become really tight with me, or me with them rather. So it's been pretty cool that over the years I've been associated with the brand, you know, and it's been really good.
Do we have any? Yeah, we've got a couple over here.
You get close.
Oh, thanks. I was lucky enough to see Transformers in the cinema when it came out, and at the time I was blown away by the music. And I remember thinking, why is all music like this? But I was wondering, what were your thoughts on why do you think the music has endured? Why do you think it resonated so much with the fans?
I'm not sure. I think that part of it is the 80s. I always love the anthems because, you know, there's like one phrase or word that you sort of shout in the chorus, and that's the one you remember. You know what I mean? Music changed after that in the 90s and beyond. That kind of 80s anthem thing went away to a large extent, and I think people like that though. I remember in the old days you'd hear a song and you'd remember it. You know?
Just like Warrior from the new album, which is a great punchy song, yeah. We've got another question over here.
Did you know that somebody rewrote the chorus of the Touch a little bit like for a funny YouTube Transformer style version, where instead of you got the touch, you got the power, it's you got the force, you got the butter.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Cool.
Yeah, another one over here.
Hi. What was your first reaction when you heard the touch playing during that dramatic scene in the movie?
Oh, yeah, with Optimus Prime and everything. Yeah, it was great. That was a really emotional moment, you know. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, we've got a question over here. We can't hear anything, I'm afraid.
Hello?
Yeah, we've got you now.
Hi, I've got two questions. Is that allowed?
Of course it is.
Alright, we'll go with the first one. So, you did a concert with Vince DiCola for Botcon a couple years ago. How was that to perform almost like most of the soundtrack?
How was it performing with Vince DiCola?
Oh, Vince is great. He's awesome. Really, like a virtuoso, and kind of, you know, his keyboard technique's amazing. The guy's got, you know, he plays all that, you know, that stuff in Dare that, and he can do all that stuff live, you know. Most people have to use a sequencer computer, you know, but yeah, it's great. Yeah, Vince is amazing. We, I think it was at 97 BotCon, he and I did a set together. We did a few songs together, and then he did some of his scoring stuff, and I performed some of my things, you know, alone, and it was cool.
Great. Second question is, so going back to your musical history, what was your influence that your music comes from?
Just influence from, just in general, for music?
Yeah, what music at your time that you felt was actually influencing you or made you really want to become a professional?
Let's see, I didn't hear all of that.
Who was your influences that would ultimately lead you to become a professional?
Oh, I see. Well, I grew up listening to the Beatles, obviously, and a lot of Zeppelin, bands like that, and then later Foreigner and Journey, bands, you know, 80s and the 80s stuff, and 70s. It's just, I always loved great songs and great singing. Even the soul music, or what they call it, you know, Motown in the U.S., all that stuff is great. It's just, for me, it's always about the song. You know, if you, whatever the melody and something that catches your ear and sticks with you. And music's just a great way to, I don't know, I just love music. All of you do, obviously.
Yeah, we've got a question right over at the back there.
One of the songs you've worked on in the past, which one did you enjoy working on the most?
Oh boy, let's see. It seems like some of the better songs. Somebody asked me about a song this morning a song called Southern Rain that I wrote. It's on In This Life, acoustic number, and it was about growing up in the South, you know, in Florida, and it rains a lot there, and so it's about being in the rain and being a kid, you know. It means a lot to me, you know, deep inside from growing up, you know, like all of us look back on being a kid, remember great stuff. But yeah, no, there's a lot of songs that have like an emotional thing that you know, brings you somewhere, you know, makes you feel a certain way.
Years. What was it like being in your garage when you were a teenager? You're in a garage band, and what kind of advice would you give for young musicians now playing in their garage?
Oh, let's see. Just do what, trust your gut. You know what I mean? Trust your instincts, because I don't know. People, I think when you try to follow trends or whatever, it's never as good as what you really feel inside. You know, trust your own instincts. It's a crazy business, music. You know, but it is fun. It's great.
Yeah, we've got one over this side.
Obviously, Transformers are the coolest franchise you've worked for, or worked with. But you worked with Chikara a little while back. How did that working relationship come about with the Wrestling Federation?
Yeah, he's a good friend. He actually helps me with my PR stuff. Mike, over at Chikara, and it's like a wrestling. He's a promoter, mainly with wrestling, but he's also a Transformers fan and become a friend of mine, and so he helps me with PR. Like I say, I did sing one song that he had written kind of as a favor, and but yeah, we've done a lot of things together. Good guy. It's kind of like, I don't know, I did the songs with Jean-Claude Van Damme, the first two movies. There were 3 songs in each of those movies that I sang, and so it's sort of associated with like martial arts, and so I guess the wrestling thing is similar, you know, in terms of that sort of music, and it worked out well.
And that would have been, was that Kickboxer and Kumite?
Yeah, Kickboxer, and the first movie was Bloodsport.
Bloodsport, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry. The song was Kumite, I think. Do we, yeah, go for it.
I've got a question. It's basically, when you record for a movie, do you get to know what the movie's like, or do you record the song and then they put it to the movie how they want it?
Well, that's a good question. I think, you know, back then I think you would write specifically for a movie more. Nowadays I think they have just, they search for the songs later, you know, and I don't necessarily write a song for a movie. But like I just said about The Touch, was with the Stallone movie in mind. You know, a lot of times if you don't write something too specific because you don't know if it's going to be where it's going to be used. But even like The Touch, let's say, that could be about a lot of things. You know, not specifically Transformers.
Yeah, Marcus, we'll go with one from you.
Do you have any pre-gig rituals that you like to do to get in the zone before you go on stage?
Rituals. Yeah, just I warm up first of all, because it takes a lot of, I have to really warm up and open up to be able to hit those high notes. It's the same stuff is like really high. I don't know who started the singing. I think it was an 80s thing, I think. Steve Perry and those guys. But no, it's warming up the voice, a lot of, make sure I have enough rest, and there's also, you sort of want to psych yourself up for, you know, you want to be happy and you know, and be ready to rock.
Hi Stan. Back in about 2011 you did a song called High Noon. I think it was for wrestling.
High Noon?
High Noon?
High Noon. I'm not familiar with that. It might be, it could have been a demo that I sang for someone. That was one of the things, I did a lot of song demos for people. They would just, as a singer for hire, and it could have been something I sang on that I don't remember.
Because what I was asking is, back in the 80s, there was a sub-cartoon called Mask Crusaders with a very similar melody and theme song. Now, Hasbro were talking about doing a live-action Mask movie. Would you be interested in doing the theme tune for that if you were approached?
Maybe, yeah. I can check it out, sure.
Marcus, yeah.
What's the story about how you managed to get Capture the Dream for the Olympics that time? How does that come about?
That one we wrote for the Olympics. Me and a couple of other guys. Capture the Dream was intended to be, we pitched it for the Olympics and they used it for NBC on, the broadcast, Olympic broadcast. Capture the Dream was mainly inspired by the Olympics. But it was pretty cool writing that. It was like, I sort of wrote down every cliche I could think of. Okay, I'm using this word here and this one here, but it worked out well.
Did you come from a musical background? So, for example, growing up, was your family musical, or was it?
Yeah, pretty much. My mom played piano in church, and my older brother's a bass player. He originally started on guitar and switched to bass. My younger sister's a singer, so yeah, kind of a musical family.
So great encouragement then all the way throughout. And yes, down here.
Hi, Stan.
Oh, hi. There you are. Sorry.
Your song, Some Dares, had a bit of a resurgence, maybe because it's being used in the Netflix series Glow. Did they get in touch with you before that?
Yeah, they did, and it was a really cool usage. They have Entertainment Weekly did a story about that, major magazine in the U.S. And they talked about the journey, and they had my name and a paragraph about me. So it was pretty cool as far as PR. A lot of people saw that. So it was not too long ago. This past year.
Yeah, Marcus.
I was just about to ask a similar question about the touch, which has been used a number of times in different movies and series. I was wondering how you reacted and enjoyed those, and if I dare say, in particular, Boogie Nights.
Oh, Boogie Nights. Yeah, that was cool. When I saw Boogie Nights, well, first I heard it was going to be in the movie with Mark Wahlberg, and anyway, you're probably familiar with the movie. But yeah, that was a very high-profile movie, a big movie. It was funny, you may not know this, but just last year, I was doing HasCon, which is Hasbro's BotCon. They started their first Transformers convention in Providence, Rhode Island, where the Hasbro headquarters. Anyway, we did a concert there, and backstage before I went on, Mark Wahlberg was just coming off stage, and I saw him, and he comes walking by, and I said, "You got the touch." He turns and says, "How did I do in the movie?" I said, "It was great." And he comes over about a couple minutes later with his phone and stands next to me and starts singing, "After all is said and done." It was great, yeah. Mark Wahlberg, he didn't have to do that. He was like one of the biggest movie stars in the world, right? But yeah, you can probably see it online. So.
Yeah, my question, as a legend and rock star to many, who is your hero or favourite rock star?
Oh wow. Probably my favorite singer of all time is Lou Gramm from Foreigner. The guy is like amazing, especially back in the day. I love his voice, and as far as an artist, probably Don Henley. I like his writing style. He's from the Eagles.
So, there's one story which you've told before, which I always find really hilarious. Not comical way, but just in a clever way, was the fact that one of your albums was marketed by its very title, wasn't it? There was an album where there was a telephone number in place of. Do you want to tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was. I was working with a couple of German guys. Were handling management for me, and his idea was to have a fan line. The phone number would be the album title, and so it would be a fan line. There really was a fan line set up, a phone line, and so people could call and find out what was happening and all that. That was before a lot of computer stuff.
And I'd just like to let everybody know that the phone line is now actually somebody's telephone number. Don't because I can't imagine how many messages I just imagine there's some poor family somewhere whose telephone number is just inundated with hello, is this Stan Bush? Have you got the tune? I've got Marcus?
Just going back to Dare's appearance in Glow, where it's used in another 80s staple, the montage sequence. If there was a Stan Bush life montage, what song would you want played over your montage?
Well, probably The Touch, because that's the one people know me for the most, I think.
Is there one by any other artist at all you would like?
Any other artists that you would like to see montage over your life?
I can't think of one. Sorry, nothing comes to mind.
Hey Stan, just a quick question. I don't know if you know this, but in the upcoming Bumblebee movie, because it's set in the 1980s, is Dare or You Got the Touch possibly playing a part in it? Or can you not say?
I can't say officially, but it looks pretty good for The Touch. On that subject, I was just at Comic-Con like 3 weeks ago. Paramount Studios had me do a panel, and they had me open the panel by singing The Touch, and there was 7,000 people. It was a huge, the big hall at Comic-Con, and sang The Touch, and of course they had the people, the star from the new Bumblebee movie, and the director, huge fan by the way, good guy. So this will be the first, non-Michael Bay one. He did 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start becoming culturally aware of Transformers as something that was more than an 80s?
More than meets the eye?
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, like I say, it sort of emerged. I mean, back when the original movie came out in '86. The Ninja Turtles were much bigger than the Transformers. It sort of developed and became a phenomenon later. Don't you think?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely grown in popularity, but was there a point, obviously before '97, when you thought, actually, this is something to still keep involvement in, or was it when you were invited to WhatCon that you started realizing the fan base that the franchise had?
I think it was then, around 1997.
Yeah, question over here.
What's your favourite guitar to play?
Favorite guitar player?
Your favourite guitar to play?
To play. Well, I have a PRS that I like, but I'm more of an acoustic player now. I mostly play my Martin acoustic. I write all my songs on the acoustic.
And what's the development process for you for a song? Does something just naturally click in your mind? Does a melody or a harmony, or maybe even just a bit of the vocals? How does that work for you, or is everyone different?
Yeah, I think everyone's different. It's that question of whether you have the music first or the lyrics first. It's like the chicken or the egg, But for me, I usually come up with like a melody or a piece of melody over chords, and I hear like a melody, and I know, okay, that's good. I hear this, and it's catchy, and I love it. But then you have to sort of work and find another part. Usually the music kind of evolves and becomes more or less complete. Where like there's music and a melody, and what I'm thinking is going to be the chorus. I eventually, a title a lot of times comes later. and then the title, you get the title, then you have a theme, and then you can start the lyrics and sort of fill in the blanks. It's like a puzzle. It's pretty cool. I mean, everybody does it differently, but that's sort of my method.
And where's the weirdest place you've taken inspiration from? Is there?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Just trying to think if there's some, anecdote or something, but I can't think of anything offhand. Just like you'll hear something on TV, or you'll think, oh, that's a good idea for a song. A lot of times you'll read a quote in a book and you'll think, oh, wow, that's great. That would be a good song. I think one of the things like I said before on the '80s thing, movies back then, the music was a huge part of the movies, as you know. Like, you'd see whatever movie it was, Back to the Future or whatever, there'd be some 80s music. There'll be maybe 5 or 6 songs that go through the whole movie, but it changed and it kind of went away from that.
And I think that's true, isn't it? I mean, the golden era of great movie soundtracks, Transformers the movie, the Rocky soundtracks, things like that. We just don't get those anymore because 9 times out of 10 they're using a popular song or something like that, and it's not been constructed necessarily around the movie. That's a shame. I'm sure we'd all like it back, wouldn't we?
Yeah!
Hello, Stan. Thanks for last night. It was awesome.
Thank you.
And also, my son's 5 years old actually. His current listening is Foreigner, Stan Bush, and the Beatles.
Oh,
you're in good company.
That's awesome.
So my question, and it may be controversial, I apologise, but as doing the Transformers movie soundtrack, has it ever been a blessing or a curse for you in the fact that you've been attached to something so popular, and just doing movie soundtracks in general? Has that been a progression and a good thing for your career, or do you feel it's sometimes been a...
No, it's actually been wonderful. I mean, I think everybody gets I'm sure Survivor. Everybody wants to hear Eye of the Tiger. It's like you have one signature song, and for me, The Touch happens to be a great song, so it's not a bad thing. But no, it's cool to be known for something, right? So, but yeah, a lot of people don't realize I have this whole other body of work, and love songs and other things too.
So earlier you mentioned that The Touch is a very versatile song. It can be used in many different settings. And we've also touched on how some of your songs appear in different works. Has there ever been a time where you've been approached by someone and they're like, hi, can we use this song for our project? And you're like, really? You want to use that song for that? Where you've just been flabbergasted by what they're trying to use it for?
Well, boy, I don't know. I think generally it's been, I think most people, there's so much money riding on every project, especially a film or something, so they generally don't make mistakes too much. Everything's thought out carefully, and they have, I don't know, I can't say that the movie industry's never wrong, but I haven't had a situation like that where I'm aghast at some choice they made. I don't know, it's one of the things, in Hollywood or LA, I've been out there for a long time now. It's one of those things where, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, that was a long time ago as well. It was actually around 86, I think, 87.
About 87, yeah.
Yeah, in that general. But yeah, that's the way it is in LA. You just do whatever comes along and then hope something sticks, it's like that kind of deal. Yes, Marcus?
Hi, Stan.
Hi.
You said you like power ballads. Is there a power ballad you would have liked to have sung yourself from another movie?
Oh, of another artist, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there a song that you would have loved to have taken and wish you'd sung yourself?
Oh, like a song from another artist, you mean?
Yeah, like say, Berlin from Foreign or something like that. A song from a power ballad from the 80s out of a film that...
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite songs like that is Dream On. That's an awesome song. I have a cover band and we do that. People always say, when you come to the high part, is he going to hit it?
Obviously talking about musical inspirations and things like that, have you have you ever given much thought to, obviously, the people that you're hopefully inspiring to write music, and has that ever come into it? Has anybody ever approached you in regards to how you've given back to them?
I don't understand.
Oh, sorry. Obviously, you've been inspired by people. I'm just wondering if you have any stories of people who've come and expressed their appreciation because they've been inspired by your music.
Oh, yeah. It's very awe-inspiring. You know. In fact, I'm extremely gratified the reception I've received here. You guys have been awesome. I gotta say. I don't deserve it. Thank you so much. No, but you're right though. I mean, it does. It means a lot when somebody says that you somehow inspired them musically or just anyway. I've gotten fan mail over the years from people that where the touch and dare maybe inspired them, or in some cases changed their life, or got them through a rough time, or you know, and it means a lot.
Great. A few years ago, when we were in the midst of the live-action movies, you did a new version of The Touch. Can you tell us a little bit about that project and how that came about?
Yeah, 2009, we did a version of The Touch that was kind of a Linkin Park type of deal, a little bit, and it was pretty cool, totally different twist, and we were, at the time, like I say, just trying to sort of adapt and get something that might work or click with one of the later iterations of the Transformers movies. And anyway, but yeah, you know, you just try stuff.
And that was something you did off your own back and just tried tweaking it, and yeah. And obviously, as you say, it's very much a contemporary piece in the style of Linkin Park, which has the traditional vocals, but then also has the rap verses over the top of it. Did you write those as well?
Yeah. I wrote the lyrics for the rapping part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you find that it's easy to do that as a songwriter? You can, because I think sometimes people look at sort of hip-hop and conventional music as two very distinct art forms, even though they're both musically based. So I was just wondering if you had any difficulty with that.
Well, that part of it is just sort of a similar message to some of the other songs like Go For It and Believe in, you know, keep on trying and don't give up and that sort of thing. I don't think it was anything particularly different about it as far as, wasn't a lot of the rap things are totally different. It's you know, it's okay. Yeah, it's rap. I don't really get that kind of music too much. It's not my thing, but I can hear how people would like it.
Do we have any more questions from the audience? Yeah, we've got one over there.
Hi, sorry. Are there any TV shows or films you saw as a kid that you'd like to have done a theme for?
TV shows or
TV
films
shows
as a kid that you would have liked to have done a theme for?
Boy, trying to think. Most of the shows, a lot of the shows that I grew up were kind of silly. Gilligan's Island or something. No, as far as action shows, probably would be the best matchup for things that I do. Like off the new album, that song "Born to Win," that could totally work with an action kind of deal. I sang a song recently. There's a Pin Zero. Do they have that cartoon over here? Anyway. I sang something for them. I didn't write it, but they hired me to sing it. That's another thing. Throughout the years, I've been a hired vocalist. I did a lot of commercials back in the day. Toyota, Coors Beer, those kinds of, you know, big national commercials where they play it over and over. And it pays real well. But yeah, it's been a good ride, you know.
I was just wondering if you have any future plans for a UK tour, or just when are you coming back?
I'd love to come back and play again. The band that I played with last night, they're local guys, you know. They live up Leeds area. So we did a show together 2.5 years ago in Nottingham. So I don't know what direction that is, but anyway. But yeah, they're great players, and I'd like to come back and do more shows with them. So keep your eyes open. I think maybe next year we'll try to put something together.
I don't know if you've heard of a tribute band called the Cybertronic Spree.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I was.
Yeah, they dress up and wear the costumes. Yeah.
Amazing covers of your stuff. Yeah, I was just wondering what you thought of them.
Yeah, Cybertronic Spree has been in touch with me. Like the last 5 years, we've talked quite a bit by email about trying to put something together where we do a couple, obviously do the Touch and Dare together, and it just hasn't worked out yet, but we probably will at some point. I love the costumes though, and,
You fancy getting into a costume yourself and then
I'm wearing one now.
Ah, right.
Hi, first of all, my favorite song is Say a Little Prayer. I have to say that. You've done over the years a lot of fan projects, be it conventions or YouTube videos or something like that. What has been your favorite experiences with fans?
Favorite experience with fans?
Oh, with fans? Let's see. Mainly last night. It was awesome. I don't think I've ever gotten that kind of reception before. But now you mentioned, he said his favorite song was Say a Little Prayer. That was from the 90s. I did an album, The Child Within. I don't know, each of the last few albums, besides the motivational rock stuff, I also try to do things that are more like a little bit spiritual, like all of us are searching for meaning in life, and I don't know, it's just, I think it's cool to like I said before, each of us has, inside us, we have a lot of amazing things people don't realize. We don't realize how strong we are, how powerful we are, as people. And, you have faith and you believe, and, I don't know, we really can change the world metaphorically, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Marcus, last question, please.
Sorry, it's a very silly question. If you were a transformer, what would you transform into?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Fan of cars or anything like that, or?
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really a sports car guy, but I don't know. Maybe a VW. I had a VW bus when I was a kid. A teenager. The van. So maybe that.
Have you got one?
You got one.
Go on then.
Can I suggest a guitar would be the first transformer. Transform into a guitar.
Oh, there you go. Transform into a guitar. That's a good idea.
But then Marcus, who's going to play the guitar?
Soundwave.
Right, okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's about time for us, I'm afraid. But before Stan leaves the stage, we did thank him last night, didn't we, in our own unique way. Do you think we can do that again?